Patrick Reed has the one thing Ryder Cup captains claim they will do anything to find. A guy who loves chaos. A guy who snatches the moment. A guy who actually thrives when it gets nasty. They called him Captain America. And in Ryder Cups, he has backed it up. 7 wins, 3 losses, 2 halves, a 66.7% point rate. So here's the question. If you're Team USA and you're trying to win the Ryder Cup, how do you justify leaving out one of your best match play scorers for 3 straight seasons? Because that's what happened. He played in 2018, and then he watched 2021, 2023, and 2025 from home. Is Reed being punished for his reputation and LIV switch at the cost of points? Or was Team USA protecting itself from a chemistry mishap it couldn't afford? Let's tell the story the way it truly is. How a Masters champion became golf's most hated. And whether freezing out Captain America is worth it even if it costs the Ryder Cup. Patrick Nathaniel Reed was born on the 5th of August 1990, and by the time he was a teenager, he didn't just want to win. He wanted to win with attitude. He was that kid who always acted like the match was personal. That intensity was what made him dangerous, but it also made him combustible. When he reached the University of Georgia, things fell apart fast. His golf teammates accused him of cheating in qualifying and stealing from lockers. Those claims were reported publicly, and Reed has repeatedly denied them, saying alcohol-related violations were the real reason he was dismissed from the team. Nothing was formally proven in a court of law sense, but in golf, you don't need a conviction to lose the benefit of the doubt. He then transferred to Augusta State and helped lead them to NCAA titles, which mattered for one simple reason. It proved his game was real. He wasn't a fake villain, he was a real one. The talent was never the debate. By the time Reed turned pro in 2011, another storm was building, not on the range, but at home. By the early 2010s, Reed had cut ties with his parents and sister. They weren't invited to his wedding. Reports later said they were escorted out of the 2014 US Open after his wife Justine reportedly asked officials to remove them. Even when he won the Masters in 2018, his family watched from miles away, not inside the ropes. Whatever the private truth was, the public effect was obvious. Reed started to feel like someone permanently at war with somebody. And while all this drama played out off the course, his game was only going up. In 2014, he won the WGC Cadillac Championship at Doral and became the youngest winner of a World Golf Championships event. And right after, he poured gasoline on the spotlight by saying he believed he was a top 5 player in the world. People mocked it, especially since he entered the week ranked 44th. But the moment that truly built the Reed legend wasn't a trophy, it was team golf. He became a Ryder Cup weapon. The kind captains love because match play is emotional, and he knew how to use emotion as a performance enhancer. The Captain America peak came at Hazeltine in 2016, in that famous singles showdown with Rory McIlroy. It was chest thumps, fist pumps, and ridiculous shot-making from both players. Reed won, and the nickname Captain America stopped sounding like a joke. This is why his omission from the Ryder Cup matters so much. Because if you freeze-frame Patrick Reed at his best, he looks like the answer to Team USA's biggest problem. After he won the Masters in 2018, his resume was bulletproof. Major champion, elite short game, fearless competitor. And then, the controversies started stacking in a way that felt familiar. In 2019, at the Hero World Challenge, cameras caught him brushing sand away from behind his ball. Not once, but twice. To most people watching, it looked exactly like what you're never supposed to do. Improve your lie. But Reed argued the optics were misleading. He blamed the camera angle, said it made things look worse than they were. Fans didn't care. Even his peers weighed in. Cameron Smith said, "If you make a mistake maybe once you can maybe understand, but to give a bit of a bull, don't response like the camera angle, that's pretty up there. I don't have any sympathy for anyone that cheats." In 2021, at Torrey Pines, he took embedded ball relief during the Farmers Insurance Open after marking and picking up the ball before an official arrived, even though TV replays showed the ball had bounced. The rules debate got technical, but the outrage wasn't about technicalities. It was about trust. Because at this point, fans weren't judging that one decision in isolation. They were connecting dots, college allegations, the Hero World Sand incident, and now this. Then in 2022, after joining LIV Golf, he filed a $750 million defamation lawsuit against Golf Channel and several analysts. He claimed they'd been spreading malicious falsehoods about him for years, and that there was a coordinated plan to destroy his reputation. But most people didn't see the suit as a noble fight for truth. They saw it as a PR move from a player whose public image had already spiraled. Then came 2023 and the Dubai Desert Classic incident. Reed hit a wild tee shot that looked like it lodged high in a group of palm trees. He insisted he identified his ball in one specific tree and took a drop below it. But later, video replays showed the ball likely landed in a different tree entirely. The golf world reacted like it always did by then, eye rolls and boos. That's the Reed paradox. He is good enough to be a hero, and controversial enough to make being associated with him feel like a risk. Now take that dynamic and drop it into a team room. That's where the Ryder Cup argument begins. Let's talk about the three missed teams, because they weren't all the same story. In 2021, Steve Stricker left him off the US team, and Stricker publicly framed it as a brutal decision tied to uncertainty around Reed's health and lack of practice after Reed had been hospitalized with pneumonia. That one had a human explanation. In 2023, LIV blew up the selection ecosystem. Zach Johnson didn't fully rule out LIV players, and Brooks Koepka ultimately made the team as a captain's pick. But for most LIV guys, qualification became a math problem. The US point system overwhelmingly rewarded PGA Tour events and majors, meaning LIV players had far fewer chances to earn points. And in 2025, this is where it got most revealing. Keegan Bradley's captain's picks were announced in late August, and Reed wasn't one of them. At this point, the PGA of America had already clarified the key thing. LIV players were eligible. If a captain wanted them, he could take them. So let's be honest about what that means. In 2025, Reed wasn't blocked by a rule. He was blocked by a choice. Now, here's the real problem. And it's the part golf rarely admits out loud. The Ryder Cup isn't a personality award. It's not a group project where everyone needs to be best friends. It's a 3-day street fight where you win by collecting points. So if you're Team USA and you keep leaving out one of your most proven match play scorers, you can't keep hiding behind the word chemistry like it's some sacred truth. Yes, Reed brings baggage. Yes, he's polarizing. But the Ryder Cup is built to use villains, not avoid them. And yes, LIV has made it political. Selection has shifted from merit to permission, and captains are faced with two ugly choices. Bring a LIV guy and drag the Tour versus LIV war into the locker room, or leave him out and hope you don't miss those points. They choose the safer option, over and over. But if Team USA actually wants to win, Patrick Reed should be on the team. Not because he deserves forgiveness, not because fans should suddenly like him, not because the controversies didn't happen, but because the Ryder Cup is the one place where none of that is supposed to matter more than points. If you're going to leave Reed out because you think he's unpopular, say that. If you're going to leave him out because he's inconvenient to the PGA Tour/LIV storyline, say that. But don't call it strategy. A captain's job is to manage personalities, to control pairings, to create roles. If you can't handle Patrick Reed for 3 days, what are we even doing here? In the end, if Team USA wants the Ryder Cup back, it can't keep selecting the team like a vibes retreat. It has to pick the guys most likely to take points off Europe. And whether people like it or not, Patrick Reed has already proven he can do exactly that.